Hi guys, it's Angie Bell with My Fairy Treasures. Okay, you guys, I'm back. Yesterday I was working on these art cards slash. Also, we can turn these into postcards or art cards, and I want to embellish them. So, because remember I said we're going to do some embellishing. So we're going to embellish them. So I want to show you some of the ones I've already embellished just so you can get kind of idea what I'm talking about. This part was a real dark spot over here, so I took a stencil to it. I put some washi tape here. I took a stencil all the way around, and that's how that one came out. And then I did a little stabilo. This one I used Tim Holtz inks to even things out and to add even more color. And then I did some stabilo around the edges. This, I think, looks like tooled leather. I really like it. It was a piece that was just like a rustic looking color on it. So I used I used this ink pad right here through a stencil. And I'm going to show you a technique that you use with, instead of using a sponge like this with your ink pad through a stencil, works so good. So anyway, again, I used another ink pad through a stencil. This one right here, this dye ink you get at Tuesday morning for like $1.99 on here. I think it turned out really cool. And then I just did a stamp of these wings. I'm going to stabilo the edges here. I just used the Distress inks just to add more color to it. This is that intuitive writing, which I love. And the background was cool, but it needed a little bit of fixer-upper. So I used some distressed inks and distressed it even more, and then did some stabiloing around the edges. This was a stamp that half took, which I was so happy with. So it looks like it's faded in and out. So it's a stamp. And then I used my stencil, my Asian stencil there, and another stencil there, and another stencil there, and I stenciled the heck out of this. I think that turned out really cool. This one I loved pretty much the way it was, so I just used a stamp right here on both sides. I think it's a stamp that says something about a spool or something. It's really, really cool. Okay, did I do anything to these? No, I did nothing to these. These are all... Do I want to do stuff? I think these are all ones that I like. And I don't want to do anything to them. Yeah, these are all ones that I like. Okay, so I didn't do anything to these because I like these ones, so they're going to be as is. So let's get started. Okay. Let me put that down. And I'm sticking all of these. This is what I'm doing. So if you're just now seeing the video, what I'm doing, and if you'd like to do it, it'd be awesome. You could post over on our magical little place, where is a place to post any artwork that you're working on or doing. Okay, see this nasty old box? It's a metal box. I'm going to redo it and make it look even more rustic, you know. But I'm filling it up with all of these cards. See? And I always have wanted to do that. I've had this for a long time. I've had all these index cards in here, and I've always wanted to make a bunch of art cards or postcards. So I'm going to do it till it's all filled up. And I'm not using, and I was going to use this size right here, which is 3 by 5, but I decided to go with a little bit bigger cards and go with 4 by 6s. So I'm going to use the 4 by 6s. See the difference? Okay. And I just picked up probably 4 or 5 packs when I was at Dollar Tree. Okay. Let me put this on the ground. So if you want to join, that'd be awesome. And then post your art cards or your postcards, or a little of both, on our magical little place. The link will be below. Okay, and you can post any of your artwork there. Anything that you do. If you knit, you sew, you mix media, whatever you do. Okay. Let me come in a little bit closer as I can, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this card, I like how it came out. It's pretty cool. It's pretty rustic. I love the way it feels. But I want to add a little bit to this one. So I have some collage bits, which we're going to collage in the middle. And I want to do some stenciling on here. Okay. I think it turns out so cool when you use the ink pad with this. Normally, I like to use these makeup brushes, but the the makeup brushes, the cheapy makeup brushes with the ink turns out really cool. Usually I use these when I use them with paint, not when I use them with ink. But I got that idea from Robin McClendon. I saw her doing it and I was like, oh. And then I saw the effect and I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't know how she thought of, have I done that? I'm trying to think if I've done that before. No, I've done this when I've done it with these when I'm using the distressed inks or the oxides, but not just regular old ink. But it comes out really cool. It comes out kind of like an airbrush effect. It's really cool. Oh, did I want to do this? Or did I want to do a dark brown? You know what? Let's do half and half. I wanted to do a dark brown. Let me see what this looks like. Oh, that looks cool. Let's do half and half. Let's do this teal color, and then we're going to do the dark brown on the other side. I wanted to hit it all with dark brown, but no major. That's the beauty of this kind of stuff. You can't mess up. You just keep going. So it's kind of fun to embellish your jelly prints. Even if you're doing whole sheets, it's kind of fun to embellish them. Just a second. Let me see what that looks like. Awesome. I want to deepen the color a little bit, so let's go back over everything I just did. Give it a second coat. Okay, so that looks good. And let me just come over here to the side. You know what? Maybe I should, that would look cool. I'm going to go back to the blue, back to the turquoise. I want to go to Tuesday morning and get more of these ink pads. They're called They're called dye ink pads. All-purpose stamping ink from Ranger. So, and they're only like $1.99 at Tuesday morning. At least that's what the price was before. I haven't been to Tuesday morning in a while. And I have one that's not too far from my house. It's just not super close, but it's not far. It's like, I don't know, it's probably 7 minutes away. So, I don't know why I don't go there. I have a lot around me. I have a Hobby Lobby, a Dollar Tree, a Joann's, and Michael's not too far away, so that's probably why. And I have like 3 Dollar Trees that are like 5 minutes from my house. Okay, I absolutely love how that turned out. Isn't that cool? The brown looks like that leather, and that's what I wanted, was that leather look, and I want to do that all over, but I like how this is. A little mixy mix. Very cool. Let me make sure you guys are still seeing. That looks really nice. Okay. What else do we want to do? I was trying to think if I want to put any distressed oxides on this, but I don't think so. Or any just distressed ink. But I like the way this looks. Oh, I know. Let's do some stamping. With black ink. Just a second. Here's my collage bits, which we're going to use. Sorry, guys. I'm just over here fuddling around trying to find this one stamp that I'm looking for. Okay. There we go. There's my watch, too. All right, this one here, it says, I love it. I've had this stamp forever, and it says something about sewing, sewing spool, and then it has cool numbers on it. It's just, I can barely really see what it looks like, but it's a really cool stamp. I've had it forever. When I very first started getting into this whole crafting world, I purchased it. I was like, ooh, I love that. And I've loved it ever since. I can't even tell you what pack it came in or anything. Or what the brand of the stamp is. I'll stamp it on some white paper so you can see the stamp, see it like I'm talking about. And I'm just using half of the stamp on the edges here, like that, because I think that looks cool. We'll do it on both sides, and just half a stamp. I think that looks cool. And I'm going to come in closer so you guys can see. You guys can see that? See? Just a half a stamp. It's not to make anything really super obvious. It's just to just be in like the background, you know? But I want to show you that stamp. So let me stamp it out for you. It's a really old stamp. Like I said, I've had it forever. Look how cool this is. Isn't that cool? I love that. I know I'm making a big deal about a stamp, but you know, you got those really cool stamps that you just always use and always keep forever. Well, that's one of them for me. Okay, I got another stamp, which is, I think, a Tim Holtz. It's a watch, a clock face. And we're gonna do there. And I'm stamping only half of it. I think it looks kind of cool to have half done. Very cool. And let's see. Just a second. This is a really small stamp, but it's really cool. I have another cool stamp that's real small like this one. This one says something on it, but the other one, I bought it and I need to dig it out. It's buttons. It's a button. It's really cute. I gotta find out where that's at. Okay, this is really cool, little stamp. I just stamped this out on here. See right there? It says 25 cents. Oh, you can't see it. Right there, it says 25 cents. That's what I'm going to use right now. Just in the background. But I need to find that one that's actual buttons. I haven't, I don't know where the heck that is. It's really a small little stamp. I probably put it somewhere. Trying to make sure I don't lose it because it's so little. I'm famous for that, organizing myself right into a mess. So just in the background here and there, I want to have this 25-cent stamp. Just here and there. I love that. That looks really cool. Let's put that right there. Perfect. Okay. That's good. So next, so I like the background there, so we're going to leave that alone. Let's do some collage bits. So this collage bit here, I absolutely love. It's some, I was looking at one of my native, was it a magazine? A native magazine? Anyway, it had all these, well, I think it was one of my books. Anyway, these native pillows and these native, like, pieces of pottery and stuff, which I thought were cool. So I thought we could collage all this together. And being careful not to cover up those beautiful pillows too much. And go like that. Love it. Okay, so let's use my glue stick, which I never use a glue stick. I always use like Mod Podge or other stuff. I never use a glue stick, but I seen Rob McClendon, she uses that Yoo-hoo or whatever, which I want to get it. I just haven't got it yet because I don't think they just sell those at Michael's, do they? So I think you have to order them online, or maybe I can get them at the or maybe I can get it at Blix Art Supply. I'm not really sure. But someone had told me about this one, and you get it at Dollar Tree, and it's a really good glue stick, you guys. it glues down things really nicely. So I'm good with the glue sticks for now. I bought 2 of them, and they only come out when they're selling school supplies. And they must be good because there was only 2 there left, and I took both of them, and then they never restocked them. So it's a really good glue stick. So next year when Dollar Tree has their back to school, I'm going to buy quite a few of them. Not too many because I'm sure they'll dry out, but I think it's called Yoo-Hoo, that glue stick. And that glue stick costs more than $1. So these are only $1 each, so. And like I said, it glues down nice. Nothing comes up afterwards. It's really nice. This is what it looks like. Is it Avery? Yeah, Avery. But that's what it looks like. Okay. I always like to share information because we're always all looking for good products that we all like. So, and that work. So I try to share. Oh, and I want to make an apology for yesterday's video. When I was doing the actual jelly printing on this, my video just cut off. Oh, I was so perturbed. But what happens is that it was, my phone was pretty fully charged, but it was, I had used it for maybe 20 minutes or something, and even that doesn't give me a full hour of video. So it just cut off. So sorry about that. I think I put it in the title. Sorry about the cut off. But I was about done anyway, so. Because I could have made a third part, but I was like, well, I'm almost done anyway, so. That's why in the title I just said, sorry for the cut off. I'm using a magazine over here to the side to use as a glue base. I like to use a magazine because then once I, get that page all sticky with glue, then I can just turn it and have a new clean surface to work from for gluing down. Ooh, that looks cool. Let me turn my glue surface over here. Okay, let's see what you guys are seeing. Isn't that cool? I think this turned out really cool. I love it. And then what I want to do is probably glue on a backing and make this into not just an art card but a postcard, because I'm really liking the way this is turning out. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to Stabilo this. So I'm taking my Stabilo. Now, when you use a Stabilo, I love my bracelet, but that's going to go off. When you use a Stabilo, you can use, to do the shading, you can use a Stabilo, you can use a black Stabilo, a black watercolor pencil. You could use Jane Davenport's color sticks. You can use gelatos. You can use an oil pastel. Any of those things will work. Of course, you can use your Tim Holtz Distress ink pad too and just go like this off of the ink pad onto the edges. But then I also like to Stabilo around my objects. And that you can't do with the Tim Holtz thing. And then we're going to use a little bit of water, wet my finger, and we'll blend all these out in just a second. I just thought I'd use my Stabilo all the way around. And then go about that. Well, really I use my spit, but anyway. You guys are like, Angela, that's nasty. Hey, you can blame Lori Marie Jenkins. She's another good, really just wonderful mixed media artist. She's the one who taught me to use my spit. Remember when she said it to me? Oh my God, I was laughing. I'm like, girl, that's hilarious. I said, but you know what? That's way quick. You don't got to wet your finger on a baby wipe or nothing. Just bam, bam. Oh, I love how this turned out. This looks really cool. And I'm glad I used a lot that teal in here because look, in the pieces of turquoise that are on here, there's teal. So that was by accident the right choice. So that's how that turned out. Isn't that pretty? I love it. You know what? Let's turn this into a postcard right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a clean one of these because this is all dirty from the Gelli press. Let's put a clear backing on it so it looks nice. And you guys, these are really nice to have a bunch of these made up, whether they're art cards or postcards, to either have in your box as inspiration for yourself, or they're really nice to just have for your, you know, your crafty or artsy friends when you need to send out a gift or you need to send out a card. You can send out one of your art cards. Or if you have another artsy friend who loves stuff like this, just send her a little package of art cards and postcards of your work as a gift, which I think would be fabulous. I would love to get a bunch of postcards, art cards of someone's work. It's like their work, but in miniature form. I love that. Okay, let me see how I'm going to do this, and hopefully I'm still in frame. All right. That was the easiest way I could do to line that up. All right. So I still want this to look vintagey, right? So I mean, I'm not going to be liking like a white card with all of that and then white on the back. No, thank you. So we're going to use our Tim Holtz Distress inks. And first we're going to use, let me find it. We're going to use Vintage Photo, but I have another one that I love. It's a really mild one, and it's called, where is it? Oh, I can't really, it's not right. I've had it, it's right, well, maybe it's over here. Here it is, Antique Linen. You guys, this is such a cool one. It's so mild. It just gives it, looks like just a hint of distress. Love it. And then we'll use some Vintage Photo and maybe some walnut stain. Okay. And I'm using my makeup brushes that I've talked about that you can get at Dollar Tree. So look for these type of makeup brushes. Be looking for these. These are fabulous. They look like this. I got these from another local dollar store. Okay, anyway, and I always write the names of what I'm using so that I have brushes dedicated to that distress oxide or distressed ink, or to whatever ink pad. Okay, I'm looking for Antique Linen one. Do I have one for that? Oh, maybe I don't. Oh yeah, I do. It's right here. Okay. This is a distressed oxide, not just a distressed stain. But I'm not going to use it as a distressed oxide. I'm not going to wet it. But I do want to use these distress oxides on these cards and wet them and let them drip all over the on top of the jelly print, which I think could look really cool. See, isn't this cool looking? It just yellows the paper, like it looks like just antique linen. I love it. I have so much distress oxides and distress inks. So like everybody, I'm just obsessed with Tim Holtz and all his stuff. Stuff is awesome because I like everything to look distressed and vintage and all that. So okay, so we're going to use some Vintage Photo now. I don't have any gumbly gook on here. No, I don't. It's all dry. Okay. I know some of you guys are wondering, like, when is she ever going to change that, her mat? I know I need to. I'm thinking about getting the glass mat. Tim Holtz has one, but they have one on QVC that's a really good price. It's like $25 only, and it's just as big as the Tim Holtz one. And I think it's by Crafter's Companion. I could be wrong, but it just looks really cool. And because I need like that hard surface that's smooth, that can be wipeable. All right, you can see me. I'm convincing myself to order the damn thing. And I could get it on Easy Pay. Okay, so there's the vintage photo, and now let's use some walnut stain. Do I have... I don't think I do. Let me see if I have one of these with walnut stain on it. I don't think I do. Because I also use these for my pastels, like my pan pastels by Jane Davenport. No, I don't. So I got to open up a new pack. And this one will be dedicated to walnut stain. This is what they look like. So that's what you're looking for at Dollar Tree. Oh, let me look at the time. Okay, you guys, in about a minute, this video is going to turn off. Go ahead and head to part 2 when it does. Okay. So that abrupt cutoff from yesterday isn't really how I like to end my videos. Usually I'll say if I know it's about to end and go to the next video, I give you a heads up so you can just go to part 2. Now I'm just going to go really just on the tippier edges here. You guys, aren't these beautiful? How these just, they blend out so beautifully. I love them. And I hate to say this, but Tim Holtz, he has tools for this. You guys everyone's bought them. I think these work way better. And then he just came out with something else recently, or not too long ago, and I think these makeup brushes work even way better. I seen somebody talk about it a while back, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta... Oh, I'll tell you what happened is I had seen them at a local dollar store. It wasn't Dollar Tree. It was a local dollar store. And I thought, oh, those would be good to use with my inks or my pastels. And then I heard somebody like just a couple days later go, this works great with Tim Holtz inks. I said, oh, I'm so glad I bought them. So then I went back to my generic dollar store to buy more. Like 2 days later, they were all gone. I was like, ooh. So then here comes 4 or 5 months later, I see people hauling these at Dollar Tree. I'm like, I'm going to buy all of them when I see them. Okay, and we're going to use my postage stamp. If you don't have a postal stamp, get this. This is worth it. It'll probably cost you $15. Use the coupon, so it'll be about $7 or $8. Well worth it. Love this. You can make a postage, like a vintage looking postcard with it. And this one I have too. That's what that one looks like. It wore off, the picture wore off on this one, but I have that one too, which I love. Okay, make sure my thing is nice and inked out. Okay, so let's turn this into a postcard. And I want to do some postcards, you guys, and I'll do it closer to Christmas, like towards the end of November, or maybe in the middle of November. No, I'll do it at the beginning of November. Start making Christmas postcards with Christmas images, like vintage Christmas images. That'll be fabulous. Okay. Awesome. Look at how this looks. Doesn't that just look so yummy? I would like to get a postcard like that in the mail. Now, I know that that's not the person's address, or I didn't address it out to the person that's going to be getting this postcard if I was to send it out, but I would just put this in an envelope. I wouldn't take any of my art cards and just throw them through the mail. Heck no, you spend too much time on those. So I will put this in a separate envelope so somebody can have this as, you know, a little gift or a collectible or whatever. Not a collectible, but a little gift. But look how vintage that looks. Doesn't that look so old world? I love it. I'm so obsessed. And again, this is what I used. Distress Oxide Antique Linen. Now, you can use Distress ink Antique Linen. I have both. I just don't know where my I don't know where my antique linen is. Distressed. Like I said, you can use the oxide or you can use the ink antique linen. Don't wet it though for the postcards. That's what I say. And then I went to Vintage Photo, and on the tippy edges I used walnut stain, which I love. Okay, I'll show you all the ones that I have sitting here that I just love. These are my faves. Rusty Hinges. This is distressed ink, but I also have this in the oxide. The oxide means if you spray it with water, oh my god, it looks like it's oxide. It has oxidation. Crushed olive. Oh, that's a distressed ink, which I love. I have brush corduroy, which I think is so cool. And that's an ink. Wild honey, and this is, I have distressed oxide in this and distressed ink. This is the oxide. And then walnut stain again, but instead of the ink, it's an oxide. So I use them interchangeably, and I don't always use them with water for the oxides. Okay, so another one done. Oh, I love it. How pretty. It would be so hard for me to send it out. All right, let me put this in my pile of dones. Of dun 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 dun. Okay, let's go do another one. I know I'm not really going through them fast, but I'm not going to worry about going fast. I'm going to worry about doing quality. So this is another one that I jelly printed yesterday. And let's see what we're going to do on this one. Okay, I can already tell I want to even out some of the look a little bit. Not even it out, but I want to put more color on here. So I'm going to use Rusty Hinges, which is one of my faves. I love Rusty Hinges. Let's use Rusty Hinges. Let's use walnut stain oxide. And we might use a little Vintage Photo. Okay, well, let's start with the Rusty Hinges. I love this Rusty Hinges. It's so beautiful. And it's really filling in where you see some of that white space. Which sometimes you want the white space. Sometimes it's good not to fill the white space in. But on this right here, I feel like I should fill it in. Look how that just distressfully evened out the card. I can't say it like evened it out. This thing's distressed as hell, but you know, in our world of evening out.